Okay. All right. So this topic was suggested by one of our attendees last class. I think it was Hinata probably, if I remember it right. So it's about co-sleeping. And the main question that we're always getting asked is co-sleeping safe? Now, there is no short answer to this question. And especially because most of the research done around co-sleeping, it didn't really, there are so many factors coming around this topic and when the researches are being done as well. So there are like cultural sleep arrangements that come into place. There are many factors that will influence the safety and the lack of safety while co-sleeping. So co-sleeping per se, there is really no short answer. And because there is no short answer, and also because there are many cultural or beliefs behind the act of co-sleeping or the lack of co-sleeping, what I'm going to focus now during this presentation is simply on how to do it safely or safer. Whether, how safe it is or it isn't, we'll have to find out with all the information that we have in this presentation. And hopefully by the end, you will have already your answer. So what applies to you and your family, okay? So here we go. What is co-sleeping? So we're gonna start with the main question. And co-sleeping can just mean different things to different families. Some people just reckon co-sleeping is just sleeping in the same room as your baby. Some people reckon it's sleeping side by side. Maybe it's on a different surface. Maybe you have that co-sleeping cot, that that attachment to your bed, where you just have like free access to your baby, but you're on different surfaces and it's still considered co-sleeping. And some people just reckon it's sharing their bed, so bed sharing. I've left two very important things here before we even move on with this topic. And it's about current guidelines for safety, okay? So one of the things is that according to the NHS and to the AAP, the fact that you have your baby sleeping in the same room as you will decrease chances of SIDS, which is the sudden infant death syndrome. So it's always recommended up until the baby's 1 year old, according to APP or AAP, and according to NHS, up until baby 6 months, that you have, at least up until, that you have the baby sleeping in the same room. That will reduce risks of SIDS, okay? And the other thing is where you're just in your postpartum period and you're like super exhausted, and at some point you're sharing your bed accidentally with your baby, that will definitely increase risks and it will put safety in danger. So it's always safest if you're going to at any point be sharing your bed, and sometimes it's accidentally, so maybe we need to keep our tuned in for this to actually prepare. It's safer to making sure that you prepare your bed and prepare yourself for bed sharing. So we're gonna move on to the next one here, and we're already dropping into the current safety guidelines for co-sleeping. And the main one, like, I wouldn't say it's the most important, but this is something to already look out for at first, making sure the sleeping area is cleared, completely cleared, okay? We're going to make sure there are no pillows where the baby's lying, no toys, no stuffed animals. It needs to be a clear, flat surface, okay? I'll go even a little further with this. Even the foam, when it's like too soft, it can also increase risks. So we're looking for a flat surface more on the moderate side rather than too soft. Free from any item, like we need to make sure we have no pillows, no beddings, no duvet, no covers where the baby is sleeping. So if you're going to do some bed sharing, you're gonna have to either lower your duvet and only like cover yourself up until you're not even like touching the baby with the bedding, um, or try different arrangements, or not even, yeah, try different ways to heat your own body rather than using a duvet. But definitely making sure it's 100% clear, 100% free, and that will ensure you're not having any items blocking the breathing area, like the breathing um, ways for your baby, okay? So that's the first one. Keep that in mind. All right, and we're gonna go for the next one. Still within safety guidelines, we're keeping this, and I mentioned this in our last class as well, for the safety do's and don'ts with newborn babies. Always make sure the baby's sleeping on their back, okay? You have like a little illustration there. You see the baby's wearing, I think it's a little fully onesie or a sleeping bag. Use different alternatives to have the baby warm, but we don't want to overheat the baby as well. So another way and reason why we're not gonna be using covers. One is because it can block the baby's breathing, and the other one is because it can overheat the baby, because the baby is already in between, or maybe on the side, but already really close to human body, which also tend to higher temperature. So in order not to overheat, and in order to make sure that the nose and mouth of the baby are free, aren't blocked, the best way to keep your baby warm is just by wearing a regular sleeping bag or a regular pajama that will keep the baby warm rather than covering or adding any extra layers. All right. And your baby should never ever be left alone in an adult bed. Okay. So that goes for safety guidelines. At this point, we were also going to avoid sleeping with pets. This is a no-no. I forgot to put like an X here, but this is a no-no, okay? What the picture is showing is what you're not supposed to be doing. I need to remember this for any future presentations. We're not going to sleep with pets or children in the bed. This is something definitely to avoid when we're co-sleeping. No, yeah, maybe less conscious beings around around the co-sleeping area. Okay, so definitely avoid that if you do have the idea of co-sleeping, if that's coming across your mind. Bear that in mind. And while I'm giving you the safety guidelines and I'm giving you most of the ways to protect yourself, I also want to add, because it may seem like we're just like avoiding, don't do this and don't do that. But there are also a lot of benefits of co-sleeping, and each family will, well, for each family, it's different. Um, but just having your baby close, having your baby smell you, having that sense of safety, that proximity of your baby, it really enhances the sense of safety for mom, for baby. It enhances a lot of oxytocin as well. So there are a lot of benefits, which I'm not going to get into this class. This is something we can even discuss during our Q&A for today, or on a different class. Today, we're really focusing on whether it's safe or not, and you're going to decide that for yourself after all the information we're going to get here today. And also, if you decide to do it, the most important thing is that you're doing it safely, okay? But yes, there are loads of benefits as well coming with co-sleeping. Um, but our main focus here is making sure that we're addressing the safety parts of this. And like I said, the fact that it's beneficial for some families also may mean it's not beneficial for your own family. This is also a very personal, um, yeah, very personal decision. So while I'm telling you there are a lot of benefits in terms of safety or feeling close, other families may feel extremely paranoid, extremely unsafe, that you're going to roll over your baby. So if that's you, definitely decide on a different option, on a different sleeping arrangement, maybe using a different surface and still having access to your baby. Um, but what I mean is there are always the pros and cons, and we can also get into that in the future. But for now, let's focus on the safety of co-sleeping. Okay, what we have here now is when not to co-sleep. So at this point, this is something we need to avoid at all times. If you've come to a decision that you want to co-sleep, that's going to bring you more comfort, bring more comfort to your baby. And if you feel like it's just, yeah, just more comfortable, it just makes you closer, and definitely keep in mind, if you or your partner or whoever you're sharing your bed with smokes, um, this is a no-no. We really need to make sure we're protecting, um, yeah, the actual health of our babies. So avoid at all costs sharing the bed if you are a smoker, or if your partner is also a smoker and sharing the bed with the baby. Depending on, there are many sleeping arrangements that I see as a doula when I'm visiting postpartum families. Sometimes I see that the mom moves into the baby's room for the time being, and it works. And say like mom is not a smoker, dad is a smoker. If you're moving into the baby's room, or if you're co-sleeping in a different bed, that's perfectly fine. We're just avoiding that baby sharing a bed with a smoker. Okay, that's just for health. And this is a safety guideline also provided by UNICEF. It's actually, there's a heavy research being done around um, smokers, and it can definitely be damaging to a newborn baby's health. Okay. Um, it goes without saying, if you've been consuming alcohol or taking any other substances and medications that make you drowsy, if you're taking any kind of medication that is inducing your sleep, more of a heavy sleep, also avoid co-sleeping. You should not be co-sleeping at all, actually. Um, if your baby was premature, if he was born 30 at before 37 weeks, we're also avoiding co-sleeping at this point. Okay. Um, if your baby has low weight, yeah, it's not really the time to co-sleep yet. Okay, let's wait until your baby starts gaining more weight, and yeah, and then you can carry on with your idea to co-sleep, or how you yeah, how you intend on arranging or making your sleep arrangements. And finally, never sleep on a sofa or an armchair. What I want to say with all of this information that we've gathered about the co-sleeping is, really, when you're making this decision, like I mentioned earlier as well, it's very, very important that you decide this is something you really want to do, or not. But if you do decide, if you go for the bed sharing, or if you're trying different sleeping arrangements, um, just make sure you're prepared for your decisions, because that's, after all, and most of all, that's how you're going to keep your entire family safe. So regardless of the sleeping arrangement that you decide for your family that works best for your family, And postpartum is actually a time where we're really trying new things and different things to see how we're going to adjust, how we're going to cope, how we're going to function. Prepare yourself for that new thing, whatever it is that you're doing. Make sure that you're following safety guidelines. So, because it's a very exhausting period for us. So sometimes we really get caught up in a situation and we feel like we need to follow through, and we need to just carry on with whatever it is that that we were told, and we get bombarded with so many kind of informations, and we're sometimes like not knowing what decision to make. And what I want to tell you with this class is just feel free to make your own decisions, empower yourself with information, go after information, and feel free to change things around when it's needed. We went over this the last class, but we get very vulnerable during our postpartum period, and through a certain point we're very suggestible, which means that the healthcare professionals or any authority figures in our lives, whatever they say sometimes become our truth. And that's what you need to look out for when you're deciding on your own sleeping arrangements, because sleep becomes a huge thing in postpartum period. The lack of sleep, the sleep deprivation, and the fact that you're just always feeling so exhausted, and then you also feel like you need to be following a specific script that was provided to you by an authority figure. It becomes even more overwhelming. So this is the time to really adjust yourself as a family and think about your sleeping arrangements. If it's not working for you in a certain way, change things around. You're free. Give yourself permission to change things around and to enhance your sleeping time, because it will be a lot of times a short sleep. This is what comes with postpartum. The lack of sleep comes with it most of the times. Most of the times you're not getting the amount of sleep that you need. So it's important that you change around your sleeping arrangements in a way that it's becoming more comfortable for you and you're doing it safely. So in the end, we're all going to make our own decisions. And the answer, and the short and the long answer to co-sleeping is that it may not be safe for everybody, and it may just be safe for you. Or yeah, the thing with the sleeping arrangement, it really just goes with preparation. So however you decide to create your sleeping area, and this same sleeping area for your baby, or if it's a different sleeping area, we're just focusing in preparing ourselves for that. So if your family has come to a conclusion that like the most important thing is that you actually get some sleep, because you might be causing even more harm if you're just not functional. You just need to find a way to sleep. And if you decide bed sharing is the way to go for it. Go for it, and go for it safely. Follow safety instructions, and just allow yourself to make your own informed decisions. I'm going to finish this topic just with the same message that we had for the last class. It's still very, I think, important for us to understand that we don't need to have it all figured out. It's so very recent where we've become overloaded with the new family format, the modern family, where we're not getting support and we're expected to follow through on our own. But just not so long ago, this information was always coming from ancestors telling their children who told their children who told their children. So there is a lot of teaching coming from from not so long ago. And for now, like modern civilization, this is becoming so distant from us, and we feel like these things, they should be intuitive, and most of the times they just aren't. Most of the times we're taught this coming from all of our lineage. And at this point, we're really lacking that. I don't know, you guys probably hear my it's my dog that's sleeping right next to me. Just a side note. But yeah, we're lacking that right now, and that kind of support. So feel supported, look for support. Make sure you're after, rather, like if you don't have it in your family, this kind of support, you'll have to try to prepare yourself for a professional support, but look for support, because a lot of the knowledge, it just comes from you being guided through a person that's been through the situation, or a person that is informed, or an authority figure that will help you and assist you and empower you. So the most important thing, and what I always like to also leave all of the families that I serve with, is that every time you're receiving support, rather, we don't know if it's from a professional, from a family member, but the ultimate idea of this support is that you become more empowered and less dependent. Like sometimes we start also feeling more dependent on either the service we're getting or the help we get from family. And this is also something we need to turn around and put more attention into, the sense that the information that's coming for us, it's coming to empower us. So with the co-sleeping topic here, all the safety guidelines we've been through, and the actual big don'ts, it's coming really to empower you to make your own decision. And when you do, for you to rest assured that you're going to do this safely. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. We can probably stop recording now. I'm gonna be addressing any Q&As you guys may have, and we're gonna have a longer time to chat today, because I feel we were missing that on the last class. So I definitely want to open a space here for us to communicate, to talk about our concerns. Renata, if you're still attending to your baby girl, feel free to just hear us chat. Feel free to ask your questions by typing, or yeah, we can just be here, just let you guys know that we're here to support you. These series, they've come from a very warm place, where we're just trying to create more of a support, a continuous kind of support service here, where we're going to be meeting once a month. And ultimately, what I want to do is make sure that we're addressing any big question that arises during this period, during pregnancy as well. I mean, it turns out to be one whole big topic around maternity. But in the end, our main intention here with our meetings, with our monthly meetings, is to really empower you guys with more information, with more knowledge, and to allow you guys to start making your personal decisions with more like making it more grounded, that you feel grounded when you're making these decisions. So, sorry, I hear my kids. Just a minute.
Thank you so much, Lorena.
No worries.